been fighting for a long, long time.
I've been fighting for a long time. I ain't gonna get.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be across the world. Welcome to the podcast at the Hill. This is our third episode entitled Quiet Times and Busy Lives. I have four incredible guests, including myself. I would say that they're special guests that haven't seen what we've done here, but they actually, a lot of them work behind the scenes, all right? Incredible special guests. I have Miss Tiffany.
Hello.
I have Miss Courtney.
Hi.
I have Miss Morgan.
Hey, y'all.
And I have Mr. Jaheem, including myself. My name is DeMarcus Fields, and I am the host for this incredible podcast. Let's get this thing started. Quick question. What brings you guys joy?
Like right now?
Just like right now, when you kind of think about the past year, I know the year is kind of coming to an end. What brings you joy or have been bringing you joy?
Okay, so past year is kind of a long time, but I can say like within the past couple of months, I can say probably spending time with my dad, watching TV together, and yeah. We every Thursday we watch Law and Order, and and we just discuss the episode, and it's a good time. So
That's nice.
yeah.
Okay, iced tea. All right. That's nice. That's nice. What about you, Tiff? What brings you joy?
What brings me joy, I would say, is probably self-care. Being able to just do like a face mask, doing my hair, doing my nails. It just makes me feel relaxed, makes me feel calm, makes me not have to think about everything else going on in the world for just a moment at least.
That's nice. That's nice. How often do you kind of have your own self-care routine?
Multiple times a week. I try to do a mask 1 to 2 times a week, hair 1 to 2 times every 2 weeks,
Okay.
and then nails once a week.
That's nice.
If I can try to. But that's at least filing it. It might not be polished, but it's at least
Y'all peeped the new hair color.
Right,
It's
right.
cute.
It's
You
cute.
expensive. Give me a couple of dollars. No.
I mean, I can show you where the hair color is in the hair store.
That's fine. What about you, Morgan?
Okay, not to be sappy, but like over this year, I think what's been bringing me joy is being a part of young adult ministry, like reconnecting with all of y'all, like getting to know y'all. That's what I said, not to be sappy, but like it's just great. You know, it's kind of I want to say we're reconnecting from childhood, like, and just still be friends as adults, especially Courtney and Tiffany, and then like meeting y'all and just.
Yeah.
It does bring me joy seeing y'all and being with you guys and going to events. So, yeah.
I love that.
I love you guys.
I love that.
Love you
I
too.
will give you some tissue if I had
Oh,
some, but I
See,
don't.
this what I mean.
What about you, Jaheem? What's been bringing you joy?
I would say accomplishing goals, being a father, obeying God's commands,
That's nice.
and working out and making money.
Okay. That's what's up. You say you a father. How old?
He'll be 2 in March.
Man, 2 in March. That's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. Fatherhood is the best hood to be in.
That's what's up.
I like that.
I'll be there one day.
That's the best hood to
That's
be
the
in.
best hood to be in, man. You and Mary. Y'all.
What about you, DeMarcus?
Yeah, I'm about to say, what's bringing you joy?
Man, what's bringing me joy? That's a great question. When I asked you guys, I didn't think. No, I'm just kidding. I would honestly say what's been bringing me joy is probably just the day-to-day peace that I've been able to find. You know, just that day-to-day peace, man. Like the little things, whether it be walking outside or, you know, just kind of having an opportunity to even, you know, live life, to breathe. You know, I've been just thinking about all of those little, you know, small things, especially in the midst of just, you know, life that's been happening, you know, all around us. So it's been kind of interesting. It's been kind of interesting. Thank y'all for that question. I do want to say kind of how this podcast is set up today. It's almost like who's the interviewer here, right? Because we all have questions for this table, all right? Now, of course, you know, chivalry still exists. So,
Hold
Jaheem
on.
and I.
No.
You know, we're not not always for social norms. You know, y'all
Okay.
can start first if you wanted to.
Oh, me and Jaheim, you know, we
We're playing.
insist.
Traditional,
You know, we know.
ladies first.
So therefore, we want to have the ladies be able to answer at least the first question.
Yeah.
Answer? So what's the question?
I mean, X.
Okay. So my first question was, what are some things that you need to add to your schedule in order to get closer to God?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
What do we need to add to our schedule?
Whether it's like changing your alarm, getting up early, whether it's in your planner specifying a specific time in which you want to spend time with God, whether it's like I'm going to go for a walk, things of that nature.
I got an answer because I was just thinking about this. I need to substitute my current playlist with more gospel
Yes.
music. Me being a big music person, like I relate to music, I vibe through music,
Yeah.
and I feel like if I could clean up what I'm listening to, you know, over time, I feel like it'll make the tremendous impact that I'm looking for within my spirituality.
Yeah.
But it's difficult, you know.
Yeah. It is.
What you listen to is actually
Yeah.
really important.
It
It's
is.
really, really important,
really
especially
is.
when it comes to music.
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback on that because that's what I was about to say too. Is changing my playlist, especially in the mornings. Because like usually going to work or even school, when I was going to school, my playlist was very specific to like me trying to wake up and stay up in traffic to just get through. But if we're being, we're very candid people here. We're being very honest. I could get a little angry on the roads if people not moving fast enough. But I realized like changing my playlist and adding more Christian music, that's still upbeat. So I make sure Kurt Frank sometimes be like, it's gonna make me feel like I'm in, get a little hype.
I feel that.
But like it changes my mentality, and I've been doing that for the past like week or so actually, because I realized like maybe I'm the problem, and it really changed like my perspective of like not being super tired when I got to work, being able to go through the day, not being able to sharing words with people in the car and they can't hear me or yelling. So like I definitely agree, the playlist definitely changes your mindset and a way to incorporate God.
What kind of words do you share with those people in the car? Morgan? No.
Words that should not be spoken.
The kind that your parents
Yeah, very kind words, of course, guys.
That's funny.
It's my turn. Let me see what the question was again.
What are some things that you need to add to your schedule to get closer to God?
Maybe instead of, the come home, shower, eat dinner, watch TV, go to bed, there needs to be something in between any of those things where it's just like, okay, let me focus on this, or let me read this, or let me listen to 15 minutes of this, something like that. Because there is time, instead of doom scrolling on TikTok or on Instagram, whatever, there's time
Definitely.
to figure something out and incorporate something in there. It's just also to figure out what I want. Yeah.
To do with that time?
Yeah.
I love that. I think for me, I would say probably community, honestly. I think, when the pandemic came and during the pandemic, I feel like to be isolated became so normal, and so of course too during that time church, wasn't, in person. And so I think most people got so used to just kind of being away that even I think you can read as much as you want to, you can pray as much as you want to. All of those are very essential. But like, I think, being closer to God is so much about community. Even in this moment, just us, coming together from our busy lives, it's like we get perspective, throughout the week. We kind of get that energy from one another. So I've been trying to be a little bit more intentional about that, just, going more so in person and talking with people, and it don't necessarily have to be, Bible study, but just about normal stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, about the Bible, it should be normal. But what I'm saying is that,
You know,
So-
when I actually came with you to visit you for youth church, I actually noticed how some of the people who were quiet before when I would first visit,
Yeah.
and now they're more talkative. They're playing the games with other people,
Yeah.
and then they're actually inviting other people into conversation who are
Exactly.
new, and it's really exciting. Like Journey, I was really excited to see her go up there, even though you were preaching on Sunday, but still, it was nice to see that.
Yeah, man, definitely. That's something else. You know, they've been ranking up in numbers too, so that's been pretty incredible too. They've been growing for sure.
I think that kind of goes into my question a little bit. Speaking of like community and being involved,
Yeah.
or just having people around you. My question is, who in your life holds you accountable with prioritizing your relationship with God?
Man, it's a
Maybe
great
I need an accountability partner.
Yeah, you could.
question.
I need one too.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But see, this is my thing though. Like, we all at this stage, being young adults in our life, we have enough wisdom to know when we're disconnecting or when we need to be closer with God. You feel me? So we all have accountability people that help us stay accountable in different areas of our life. But I feel like within our personal spirituality, it's
Yeah.
on us to hold ourselves accountable 100%. And I think that like we slack the most when we start placing expectations on people who don't really have a say in the matter.
True.
You know, and I'm guilty of all these things myself. You know, but like I just try and stay critical of myself. You know, and keep myself on point. But we all know when we slipping. You know,
Yeah.
that's a good question though.
Yeah, that is a good question. I think with that is interesting because it's such a balance. Like it's such a balance in that to know that you're slipping, but then to also be able to even trust somebody that they could hold you accountable. You know, because oftentimes, whether we know it or not, for some reason we try to hide from ourselves. And it's like, you know,
Yeah.
you know, we have to look in the mirror, you know, every single day and, you know, and be honest that way. And sometimes we can't be honest with ourselves. To have that person to love us enough to say, hey, you're slipping, hey, you know, and not in a way where they're trying to judge you.
Yeah.
But like you literally feel that love, like I'm only telling you this because I know that I want you to meet the best version, you know, of yourself, you know.
Or not even just telling you that you're slipping, but you feel comfortable to tell them that you are
You're
slipping
Yeah,
yourself.
I love that. Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
part that really
yeah.
matters.
Because you know that they're not going to judge you. You know that they're not going to
Exactly.
ridicule you. They're just going to help you get back on track. But you know, I think that that's not to get off topic, but I think that within the Christianity community, that there are a lot of believers who make other believers hesitant to open up
open.
about the struggles that they have within their spirituality, or just because like they don't want to. I don't want to go to church and so
Right,
be looking
right,
at me
right.
funny. You know, like I just think that we as believers, we all need to remember that we're all human. You know, and
Right.
everybody fall in different
Exactly.
areas. So when somebody's not to say that we do these things, but like even we all know people who do these things. So like just being children of Christ, I think that's another way we keep them accountable. Like, hey, bro, listen, like that's not how you correct someone or help someone. I think there need to be a lot more of that within the church community.
Just having a safe place to land. I think I answered that question because I feel like a lot of people have accountability partners when it comes to fitness, when it
Yeah.
comes to a book club. You know, that's another form of an accountability partner. But I feel like for me, or when people think of exercising physically, mentally, and spiritually, why don't we ask for a spiritual accountability partner? Or, and I feel like we've been trying to develop that, especially with like pushing Bible study and getting
Right.
things up and running. But like I feel like those are also, I think for me as being someone that's helping with those initiatives, that's also my way of seeking accountability too.
Right.
Because y'all are already safe places to land. So like at that point it's just like I'm just creating the space. I just need the platform. You know? Like, I'm creating the platform, but yeah.
Man, I love that. And it's interesting too, like to that point. I feel like this is such a great question. It's like you just want to keep adding, you know, like to the question. But this one guy, one preacher, he said, you know, like God can't bless who you pretend to be. And I feel like, man, oftentimes you know, people feel the need to pretend, and so therefore it's so hard to open up. And then I think the deeper, like, even context of even like that question, right? It's kind of like when you talk about being authentic, then you start kind of going into like theological conversations of what it means to what, as far as what's okay and what's not okay. Because everybody have like these different perspectives of like, man, this is okay in life and this is not. So I think even in accountability, you're like, I don't know if I even want to show you, you know, who I am, you know, in that, you know.
But see, I think that goes back to us not willing to hold ourselves accountable, because like you don't want to show your flaws to somebody who you know is going to hold you accountable. Because you can hold yourself accountable and they can hold you accountable in that moment. But like a personal trainer tells their client, when you're at home, those decisions you make, what you eat, make the biggest results. Like you can come in here and put in work, but if you're not doing what you need to do when nobody is here watching you, telling you what to do, like you really got to have that certain level of discipline to achieve what you're trying to achieve.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I have a different question. Somebody asked me recently, am I saved? And I told them I don't think that I'm saved yet. I told them I'm a believer, you know, like I have a relationship with God, but I don't think I'm saved because I still have a lot of self-serving desires or things that I do that I know God frowns upon, and I am trying to outgrow them, but I haven't completely submitted to him and what he asks of me. So do y'all think that there is any areas in your lives that y'all haven't submitted entirely before God that he needs or wants y'all to submit to?
Absolutely.
Whoa.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. What are some areas in my life that I feel like probably, let me see. Let me try and word it right, or try to get the right words.
Judgment free zone.
I know that, y'all. I would probably say the feeling of like loneliness. It's like I'll be like, oh, I'm okay, I'm okay, but I won't pray about it. I'll just be like, I can deal with it myself, and then I'll be fine for like a couple weeks or a couple months, and then randomly it'll come back. I'm like, well, okay, I guess I'm just supposed to feel this way, and then it's just it's a cycle. So I'm working on that. We'll see. Check in with me.
Appreciate you being vulnerable enough to tell us.
Hold me accountable.
Right.
What about you, Tiffany, Morgan?
Okay. So I have a bad problem of not feeling fulfilled. As like I'll achieve a goal and then be like, okay, yeah, I did it. What's next? I never can sit and enjoy the feeling of being proud of myself in that moment, and it makes me. I don't say the word. Saying over ambitious was the wrong word, but like never feeling satisfied enough with what I've done or being proud of myself in that moment. When others are proud of me, I feel like I got to continue to I got to do something else to make myself proud, because it's temporary to me personally. And I'll be completely honest, that is one of the reasons why I became more active in church again. It began out of guilt, because I was constantly acting and not listening to God, and doors were continuously to shut in my face. Like, no, rejection, no. Thanks for your application, not at this time, constantly. And I was more angry at God, and then it became angry at myself. I didn't realize, no, girl, you didn't do what you were supposed to. You didn't listen, you didn't talk. And it's something that you said Sunday, where you said you pray for God to move, but you continuously, what something you said?
Still wanted to be in control.
But you still want to be in control of the situation. And that's literally me. And I literally look at my mama, when you said that, she was like, and I was like, and that was literally my life last year. Wow. And as y'all can see, it was when we had that first kickback. What was that? February.
Oh,
That
bowling.
little yeah. That's when I was like, oh no, this is where I need to be. Like, and it started out of guilt, but that was really me listening to God to move forward. So that's one way I was able to get out of one situation, but I'm still working on being able to be to ask God for guidance on how to be proud of myself.
Not to piggyback on what you said, I think that's great. But I also don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to be overzealous if you're channeling it in the right direction, like you began doing with the church.
Well, yeah, at first it wasn't.
Yeah.
So this is me asking
Exactly, in
and
the
trying
right
to
direction.
act in the right direction.
You know, like if you have because a lot of the most successful people I know, like Denzel Washington said he never watched any of his movies because as soon as he's done with one, it's on to the next. You know, and if you have ambition, like that's good as long as you're channeling it in the right direction. You know, which I think you have done. Like you've made that adjustment
I'm
to
learning.
do so. So just
And
for anybody else.
And I think that's part of your question too. Like, I feel like the whole being saved, it's everyone's in progress. Like it's a journey. I don't want to say I don't think there's a destination, but I think everyone's going to continuously be on that journey.
Yeah, we're supposed to be trying to strive to be Christ-like, and Christ is supposed to be perfect, but we're never going to be perfect.
Right.
And so that's why we have to ask for forgiveness. That's why we have to confess our sins and things of that nature. Like for me, mine is patience. Patience, it's so bad. And then God is just like, just listen to me. Just like, I'm putting it in your face. All you have to do is just listen to me. And when that moment when you actually listen and you just click and you're like, wait a second. You were trying to guide me the entire time, but I was not paying attention. I was ignoring the signs, even if they were there, any of that, because you're just ready to race towards what you want your goal to be. So that's
Oh, that's so true. Oh, I would say mine is probably my dreams, you know, like submitting to God my dreams. I can really relate to like this ambition thing where you feel like it's so much you want to do for the world. And when I say for the world, it's like so much you want to do for community and different things like that. And then you learn along the way that you do want to do those things, but you're also almost trying to find, I always talk about balance, right? You're also trying to find a balance of, okay, how much do I really want to do these things and how much am I only doing it to try and like fill that void, you know, like that I have. And I feel like, you know, that's something like for myself, kind of like yesterday for the sermon when I talked about that moment where I'm thinking through my faith and I'm like, man, I want to give up on this and this is just going so hard. And then all of a sudden it's like I'm invited to play basketball, just so I happen to be in the church. And I mentioned that during that time, going to the church, I ended up wanting to give up on God and then getting offered a job, right? Now it wasn't about like having a new job or the money, but I feel like it was more so about that even when I want to run away from God, God is willing to continue to chase after me, right? And it's kind of like that understanding of God will leave the 99 for the one. And I feel like, you know, God was like, "You're the one, bro." You know, I'm going after you. And I think that's the same thing, just like with voids or, you know, anything else. Like God already knows time from the beginning to the end. So it's like God has already factored in our mistakes and everything else. And so like even that point of, you know, not feeling like, you know, you're saved or whatever, you know, whatever it may be, it's like, man, just to try and conceptualize something that we will never be able to conceptualize, it's like almost saying, okay, let me try to learn that that's enough. Like I'll never understand this love, like to know that God, I feel like I'm long-winded, but what I'm saying is that to know that like to know that God knows that you're gonna struggle with something until the day you go to glory. But it's like none of those struggles are a surprise to God. I think it's more so about, you know, not the perfection, but literally the persistence. Like,
that's
you
a
know,
fact.
you know,
That's a
so.
fact.
I love how you say he factored in our mistakes, because I feel like that helped me low-key right there and there, because I'm like, oh, I always feel like I'm behind.
Man,
But I'm like, no, that's my story. This is my story. Like, you
Yeah.
already knew that was going to happen. So it's not a setback. It's my story. It's my
yeah.
story.
Oh my God, and not to cut you off, but you said something. You just said something. You said, you know, I feel like, you know, partially I was, you know, I think I was trying to feel like this void in my life, even doing the young adults and whatnot. But again, you just never know how God could be working behind the scenes. Like, maybe for you, it was like, I'm feeling a void the entire time. I'm like, God is like, yep, let me just put her together in this community, you know, bring her back. So it's, God to make you laugh. I'll say that.
He is hilarious.
I'll say that for sure.
I got another question.
Yeah.
Have either of y'all ever found, and that was a great response, by the way, DeMarcus. Have either of y'all ever found yourselves in a situation where the Christ in you or just that love for Jesus in you have driven you to do all you can for someone or something, and each time it just does not work out? Like, you're actually wounded from trying to do this. Like, I say that because just recently
God is powerful.
I learned sometimes you just gotta let go. And you gotta understand that
absolutely.
God is done
Definitely.
using you for this part in this
Yeah.
situation, whatever it is,
Exactly,
you know?
yeah, man.
And I only say that because for so long I was trying to get something right, you know, putting a lot of energy into it. And I was failing miserably to where I was questioning myself. But when I realized that I've done all that was asked of me and all that I can offer, and I let go and I fell back, like 6 months later, all of the progress that I was trying to beat in
Right.
just happened.
Yeah.
You know, and that was something to me that, like, to go back to like the ambition, or just sometimes you really just got to be like, all right, God, you take over now. And
Yeah.
this is something I'm trying to be better at understanding, especially for like family who's struggling or just people who are going through hard times. Like, I often try and take on their problems as well.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to realize that sometimes all you got to do is just pray and let God take care of the rest. Have y'all found yourselves in those situations?
Definitely.
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
For myself, I think it's just a space of knowing that God is going to give you certain signs that tell you that that person or that space, that place is not meant for you. And it's really hard to go through that journey. But once you you kind of have to just sit through it, and you're just sitting there like, okay, God, I really want this to work, but it's not working. It's not working at all. I really want to be friends with this person. But what their heart wants and what my heart wants are falling apart from one another. And sometimes you have to pray, and you have to just say, okay, I understand. I get it. Okay, God.
You know, like, people say some people are, been in your life for a season. So I have modernized it a little bit. Not everyone's meant to be a main character in your story. Some people are just meant to be extras. And some people are just meant to be bystanders, extras, and just playing a part. And you're trying to hold on to somebody, whether I like friendships, a relationship that's a romantic relationship, just hold on to a situation that you know it's not working, it's not benefiting you anymore. That's because God's telling you, okay, release. Release and let me do my work. Let me show you how I show up. How I'm about to show up and shake the table. And I think that's something I had to come to terms with. And some people can come back into your life. Some people can reappear, and they may have needed to go through what they needed to go through by themselves. And you needed to go and change by yourself, and not together. And maybe when you reunite, friendship, family, relationship-wise, you can be better people to have a better interaction and a better purpose in each other's lives. So
It brings you peace, less stress.
Oh, yeah.
A lot less stress, more sleep.
Yeah.
You will learn that they probably want the best for you anyway. Like in the long run, you ever had somebody in your life where you guys aren't friends anymore, or you had to let them go romantically, whatever it may be? You look back 5-10 years later, you're like, man, I'm so glad that God stepped into that situation. And it's not anything bad necessarily, to them, because they're probably doing well. But it's when you look back over your life and look at how you've grown as a person and the direction you've probably grown into, you start to say, man, I probably would have never grown into this direction or kind of, become exposed to what I've been able to be exposed to if that situation had not happened. And it's kind of back to like the balance of what you talked about with that ambition where, sometimes a person can be unintentionally holding you back. And you the same thing, for them. And you would have never, left a place or been exposed to new things unless you would have been out of that relationship. Because you didn't know at the time until you got free from it that it was probably a stronghold on you, So, wow.
I got a small little question. Kind of going back to, I guess, one of the friendships and I guess what we've learned growing as we've gotten older. So also with that, people change out of our lives. Our responsibilities change as we've gotten older. Our priorities have changed as we've gotten older. How have y'all seen like the shift or change in your priority, in your efforts in prioritizing God and church as you have gotten older? From like children, youth, to now young adults. How has that priority or efforts in changing that priority has changed?
Well, I will say, when we're children, youth, well, at least me, I was forced to be here.
Obligation.
I was
Not a negotiation.
I was, Courtney, get up, get dressed, we're going to church. As opposed to, college and post-college. College, I was away from home and I didn't have a car, but I still tried to find something at school. So I did go to a Bible study, and then someone at one of the churches in the area, they would come pick me up and take me to church. And then post grad, I'm back home. I'm at home with my parents, but I make the conscious effort every morning to get up. I make the conscious effort to drive. I'm driving by myself because they get here too early, and I get here just in time. And even participating in stuff. When I was a kid, I participated because my parents were over young adult. I mean, not young adult. Youth. Yeah. So where they were, we were. Because we weren't staying home alone when they were doing stuff for youth. How does that look? Your children are youth and they're not there. But now, I don't know why I decided to step into this role. I really don't know why. It's above me, obviously. It's literally above me. Because
It's the Lord.
that was not in the plan. I don't know what I expect out of young adult ministry, but it got turned all the way around, and somehow we're here now.
Got turned all the way around.
Listen, I gotta brag on the family. I mean, all of you guys are just incredible. Your parents are amazing. And then it's interesting because you not only are with the young adults, but you're also a major hand in confirmation. That's the first part of the youth, introduction to Christ.
Yeah, I will say I think that's what started this whole thing, because I don't know who told, not Reverend Singleton, but the pastor before her, I think Reverend Jones. Somebody told her, Courtney can help. And I was like, okay. Then the next year, and then the next year, the part got bigger. Then the next year, the part got bigger. Then the next year, the part got bigger. And now, I'm in meetings and figuring stuff out and over stuff. So it's crazy.
Court was in a pastor's meeting. I said, man, she different.
She big deal.
No. I'm a part of a team. So yeah. But
she's synonymous with confirmation. So
you're really
and young adult and executive producer. And, okay, I'm done. Right.
It's a long list.
Many hats on.
Yeah.
What about you, Tiffany?
For myself, agree with Courtney. When I was younger, it was definitely kind of like that it was kind of that forced going to school. I mean, going to church. Get up in the morning. You're kind of like, oh, I can finally sleep in. I don't have to go to school this early in the morning, and now I got to go to church. But then that community that we talked about earlier, that community is where it's very important. And I think as a youth, that community was very important specifically for me. And it was what actually kept me mentally at church. Even though I was physically at church, there's a lot of people that come to church but aren't mentally here. And I think as a youth, that community actually helped me mentally be here and spiritually be here. And then when I was in college, I went to Bible studies. I went to a couple churches. You kind of have to test out churches. Don't trust every single place you go to. Please don't. Test it out just like a therapist. Please don't trust your therapist either. Well, I mean, just test out different ones. But I think that it was just a place where I kind of had to really discover, what do I believe in? I don't believe in this, so I can't come to this space anymore. And then I came back to Ben Hill and I was like, okay, yes, this feels like home. And for a while, I was just more of just a part of the group of people in the sanctuary. And then I was always in the finance room, but
finance committee.
Yeah, finance committee. But that's kind of in the back. And I think that we all kind of play roles that are seen and then not seen. But I wanted to make sure that I played more of a vital role at Ben Hill, especially because I know how much it benefited me as a youth, and I want to make sure that the children and the youth here can get the same benefits, or if not better than what I had, so that they can be better than people my age now.
Right. And that's it, and it's interesting. I love to brag and give props. I won't go long, but it's interesting because you literally were a youth working in finance.
Yes.
Years ago. And then now you're still working in finance, right? And not only that, but you're also in management too, right?
So I work on the audit committee. I'm on the budgeting committee, and then just regular finance. So we help on Sundays, counting money and all of that.
You guys heard that, right? No, I'm just kidding. Incredible, right? And then it's interesting too, because you working with finance, and then Morgan, you're with the Usher board as well.
And finance too.
And finance, I didn't know finance too. Okay. And Jaheim, you're with the Ushers too, right?
Yes.
These are very essential roles at the church. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. I mean, even to be in those roles and then to work full grown-up jobs, right? Like that, make you press. That's amazing. Yeah.
So I do kind of have like a segue. Like, even though we're doing all of this within the church and working at home, or not working at home, working away from here, but do you ever feel like you're not doing enough? Because I know I do. It's just like, I know what I'm doing here is for like the betterment of everybody here, but it's just like, okay, what am I doing to better myself and work on myself? So
for myself, I did feel that way, but then I felt that there was a point where I was feeling burnout, and I felt that I was overcommitting myself. And there were so many times where people were like, hey, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you join this? And it's just like, okay, I do want to do everything, but I can't. And if I'm doing everything here, what am I doing for myself at home, for my personal life? What am I doing for myself, career life? What am I doing for myself? Honestly, that's it. But that's kind of what I kind of forced myself to say. I have to put a boundary up. I want to do community service, but I don't only want to do community service here. And so making sure that I expanded where I did my community service, but at the same time keeping it small so that I'm not having my hands in every single bucket. Like, I can do community service, but I can't do it with 5 different people or 5 different organizations. Sometimes you have to
hold it in.
we definitely do be spread thin.
Courtney, I already said, shout out to all my Hamilton friends. I'm never satisfied, okay? I'm never satisfied. But I also had to learn, too, I was burning myself out. Nobody else was. I was burning myself out. And then I also realized too, especially like within the church and growing up in the church and everybody knowing your name, like Morgan can do it, Morgan can do it. I was like sitting back and like, oh no, there's so many other young adults in this church. Let me give you a name. Because maybe you only know my name as someone to call on. So let me give you another name and give them an opportunity to step into that space too. So I've learned to say no, but give a suggestion, you know, so you're not left high and dry. But that's also one way I had to learn to just say no in general. But
Still working on it.
Yeah.
It's okay to say no and not have an option for them as well.
That too.
That's true.
But something I learned in college was like, especially like picking orgs, like pick something that's gonna career wise or major wise. Pick something that's for a club for fun, and pick something that's like community service gonna make you thrive. So I've continued that on in life, as in like putting myself in spaces where I can still achieve that community service drive, or still like the fitness aspect, or being in a space where they too prioritize that within the organization. So I feel like for me, I've learned to do that with, you know, being a part of the church and young adult ministry, but also my sorority and being a part of activities there. That's also giving back in the community too, but just in a different way. You know what I mean? So just making sure you could maintain being in those spaces that can diversify and like continue to satisfy me in that self-care that's not work or success.
Those are all great responses. I think me personally, I realized that I'm not going to be able to do it all like within the church and everything that I want to do within the church a long time ago. But I think ways that I've tried to substitute where I'm slacking in the church, like how many times do you just see people being good human people? You know, like you out in public, you see somebody on the road with a flat tire, you ain't got nowhere to be. You know, if you got the means to help them, help them.
Exactly.
You know, stuff like that. I feel like we overlook the opportunities because the Lord Christ, He dwells within us. And part of being, when you join the church, the pastor tell you to spread, you know, tell people, like we overlook that, you know. Like just this morning, there was a lady, she had a major mechanical issue, and I already knew what time it was. But the least I could do for her was just get her out the side of the main road, you know, and just make sure she had roadside assistance. You know? Stuff like that. Just the simple things to help someone in need when it's really, really needed. I feel like those are the blessings that people be needing the most. And I feel like that's how we really show God that we're living by His commandments, by living a Christ life, like Christ life, Christ-like life. Sorry. You got it.
I love that. And even you doing that, it's like you did that in private.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody, I mean, we know about it now.
Yeah.
But, you know, but
Everybody knows.
But I'm glad that I did do it because I could use it as an example.
Exactly.
You know, and like my homeboys, they're good for, like, they see somebody begging on the side of the road, like, bro, they don't need the money for real. Like, they up at home. We don't know that, you know? And like, if I got it to spare, like, I'll spare it. If I don't have it to spare, it's different. But whatever you decide to do with it, that's on you. But I know me, I did something that, you know, I did something that God would have done for me, you know, or vice versa. And I just think we got to start doing that, especially our younger generation in the times we live in when there's so much divisiveness and just so much hatred put into the world, you know, just to show a little love. It don't cost nothing to show a little love.
It don't.
You know?
It don't. I give to the water boys.
I keep peanut butter crackers in my car.
And no, I used to keep like little baggies of like washcloths, water bottles, snacks, and stuff. I need to,
That's a good idea.
like soap, and just keep it in my back trunk because I'm like, I don't have $1, and like I don't keep cash on me, but here's a goodie bag. Like,
I used to try to keep water bottles, but because of like the heat,
the plastic, you're like, okay, now everybody's unsafe.
I think I want to ask the question, how do you guys measure your faithfulness? How do you guys measure your faithfulness? Like, is it through results? Is it through just being obedient in general? What is it? How do you guys measure that faithfulness?
Wait, I need to
You
say
know.
think.
So it's funny that you say that because I was just thinking about this recently. So for me, like, I grew up with two parents who had really bad anxiety. So naturally, I tend to have anxiety. But something that I've been doing recently is that when I set my mind to do something and I'm waiting on the outcome, I don't say, God, I hope the outcome is in my favor. I say, I know whatever the outcome is, it's going to be the outcome that the Lord wanted. So I'm just going to have to be content with it, even if it's not the way that I wanted it, you know? And that's how I've seen my faith grow, especially within the last, like, 6 months, you know, like starting a business and just trying to, you know, grow it while still working, being a father, you know, and all of that stuff, and just saying, like, I know my business is going to take off when it does, you know, I'm just going to be prepared for each opportunity. Each time I get a new customer, I'm just going to be prepared, you know. There was never a doubt in my mind if it wasn't going to take off. I just knew that it would. And when it did, I just had to be on point, you know. And that's how I know my faithfulness as a man is increasing. And that's really satisfying because I've always struggled in that area.
Yeah, like it's like being faithfulness of the season. What kind of business do you have?
It's a pressure washing and handyman service. Metro Atlanta local, very good prices. Went to school for it, licensed and insured. Follow me on Instagram, t.t.sllc Solutions. There you go.
T.T.is.
It's gonna show up on the screen. Put it on the screen right here.
And with that, we'll be back after this commercial.
Gotta pay some bills right quick. Here we go.
I think for me, and I'm seeing it now of my ability to not wanting to be in control. Like, literally just not wanting to be in control, not planning too much. And I'm seeing that that's not, actually that doesn't go to this because I am preparing for Q1 of 2026, and that's just not, it's not fair. I include that into that planning part. But like, the planning out my life part, like as in, okay, I'm going to do this by this age. I'm going to be this person by this age. I'm going to be married by this age. I'm going to have my first child. You know, that has stopped. That has stopped because the ages have came. But, but I'm seeing myself just let go and let God for real. And that's hard for me. Yeah. Because I'm a control freak. It's the Capricorn in me. I can't help it. But I'm realizing that I'm not. And I'm proud of me. Period.
Proud of you too.
Thank you.
How do I measure my faithfulness? I would say probably now it would be actually bringing stuff to God and actually having a conversation with Him. Because it used to be just thank you for this food. Thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for letting me have a good dream and be able to, you know, sleep through the night. But now it's more so I have stuff to say now. So it's just like being able to bring stuff to Him shows definitely growth. Yeah. So, like I said, it's a work in progress.
I agree with both of those. I think for measuring your faithfulness, especially with spending time with God, there were moments where I just definitely was not really spending time with God on my own. It was more so when I came to church or when my family was kind of wanting to pray or something bad was happening. But now it's like when it's good times, when I'm just sitting in the car and just like, I want to play music, I'm going to put on my gospel music today. Those are the moments where that's really important. But then even the control part, being able to just be willing to let God be in control of what's going on in your life and just say, okay, I understand that certain things are happening and I just have to roll with it, whether it's good or bad. And just making sure that you see the positive in all of it.
To piggyback on what you said, I also think it's important that, like, and it could be just part of submitting to God, and it's something that I didn't learn myself until like 2.5 years ago. My auntie, she had stage 3 cancer, right? And my auntie's 70, she was 76 at the time. And that was scary for me because I lost both of my grandmas when they were in their 50s. So, and then moving down here to Georgia with my auntie who I was staying with at the time, her coming with such a diagnosis and me watching what it did to her. But not one time did she God, why have you forsaken me? Like, I have never seen a woman wake up at 2 a.m. in excruciating pain, praising God, talking about, God, I know you will deliver this cancer from my body. Like, to see a woman, a 76-year-old woman who has lived 76 years worth of life and seen the different eras, the different generations, the different things that has went on in the world, and to see her praise God in probably one of her most scariest times in her life, internally, I think 3 weeks later, after we found out she was in remission, that's when I joined Ben Hill. Because at that moment, I knew, like, and then I started replaying events in my life, and I was just like, the whole time he was there working, and I just was either too young to see it and understand it, but just growing up, seeing different parts of life, I understand that, like, when things aren't going your way, and it's just went left when you were expecting it to go right, God expects you to maintain that same type of praise and consistency, even when it's not anything that we would have wanted. And I think he often tests us a lot to see if we've matured in those areas, because I think a lot of us don't even notice we do it when we do it, you know, just course of habit.
That also goes to show that God loves us unconditionally, which means we need to love him too unconditionally. So even when your aunt was going through something traumatic that she could have blamed,
but she loves him unconditionally.
It was still an unconditional love.
And she preaching to me while she's sick. I'm like, Auntie, you not mad?
Yeah,
She like, I'm not gonna worry. I'm not gonna stress. I'm gonna be alright. And she's okay. Like, this was a year, 2 years ago.
That's a hard place to be in too. Yeah. Right. I would say, for myself, I would say, I would say a lot, but I would say, I think saying the scriptures, like, at work, or believing the scriptures at a time in my life, you know, where I need it, you know. And so let's say, I know sometimes with these big ideas that we all have, a lot of times that fear is the thing that keep you from just doing it. Even something, you know, like you started your business, but I'm pretty sure at one point you probably was like, man, starting a business, that's tough. That's tough, man, right? It's a lot of leg work. But sometimes I'll measure the faithfulness just by overcoming that fear to do it, you know. Just taking that leap and trusting God and not knowing what the outcome is going to be, but just to know that I trusted God enough to go ahead and do what I feel like God, you know, led me to do. I feel like that's always a great way of faithfulness for me. I know that we are coming to the end of our time together, right? I feel like we need a part 2, part 3, part 9. But
next week.
I know that there's one more question, you know, we want to ask. I don't know who's going to ask this question.
I have a good question.
I think Tiffany's going to ask this question. So.
What you got?
Okay, so when you're feeling disconnected, feeling busy, what is one of your favorite places to spend time with God? And my example for myself would be, I love to spend time with God in the car on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But if I could have that opportunity, I would go to a waterfall. So when I went to Camp Glisten, the waterfall there, it just really that's where I really felt connected to God. So I want your like regular connections with God, and then like your I got to stretch and make it happen to spend time with God at this place.
Oh. Okay, every day. Like a daily, and then like a...
It doesn't have to be daily, but just
Tiffany
more
was going to ask the hardest question.
Okay. So, for me, when I feel closest to God, and this is going to be very out there, but it's actually with my grandmother. That's when I feel the closest to God. Like,
Absolutely understand.
I love that woman.
If y'all have met her grandmother,
that's
y'all
my girl.
will know.
Like, that's my girl. I love that woman.
Right.
But I do spend a lot of time with her. I've always spent a lot of time with her when I was growing up. Spend a lot of time with her now. But she has a way of bringing it back to God. And I'm like, oh, I'm learning something new here.
Right.
And this is actually a recent story. And I wasn't like physically with her. But she called me. She said, hey, girl, you got some new recommendations on Netflix? I got one for you this time. You need to watch Ruth and Boaz on Netflix. I said, I saw that. I love Tyler. He cute. And she's like, no, Morgan, you need to watch it. Lock in and watch it. So I watched it, and I said, oh, I like this. I was just like, well, let me just break it down to you through the Bible. And I was like, I knew the story, but like for her to break it down how she did, I was like,
I ain't even see it that way.
oh.
Not everyone gets that either.
And that's why I stick to you, girl. That's how I'm saying. That's how I do feel the closest with God, because I feel like she has that aura, and it just makes me. I want that aura, like, you know what I mean. Like, I want to be like her. So yeah, that's when I feel closest to God. And I guess not necessarily moments I make an effort because I'm always with her, but honestly being around y'all, to be honest with you, like on a because like especially like DeMarcus, and I have like envy of like how you able to just like throw out a scripture, and I'm like, ooh, I need to get to that level. But it's not like comparison, but it's just like your understanding. That's where I want to be too. So I feel like being around y'all, I'm just like, oh, I'm in a safe space where like this is something I don't know everything about, but I'm learning from you guys, and that makes it. That's a way for me to show effort in that relationship and in that prioritizing it.
That's good. We learning together.
I'm done.
I just
So
want to say, Miss
the
Jenny is the
question
GOAT.
is, one more time.
Miss
A
Jenny's the
space in
GOAT.
which you like to spend time with God on a regular basis, and then one which you have to put a little bit more effort towards.
A space where I do spend time with God. It's really two. Because it's two places where I'm like, my thoughts are turned off a little bit, where I'm focused on doing something. So one place is in the car, because I'm in the car a lot of the time now. Just even driving from my work to here, ooh-wee, was a journey. But you have time, but you have to make effort to like, okay, turn the music off. Well, this was what I do. Turn the music off, ride in silence, and then that's when I have my moments. Sometimes I pray, sometimes I just think. And then the other place is it's in the shower where I'm thinking like, oh, let me think about this, or oh, this happened today. It's like where I go through my like the day. I'm like, that happened today. I'm like, oh, I need to pray for them. Let me do that right now. Or I'll start saying a prayer. I'm like, I'm gonna pray that tonight. I'm like, wait, well, you're praying it right now by saying it. And then the second part of the question.
Oh,
It's two parts.
I
or
thought
one?
it was.
You think you answered it?
Is
I
it?
think so.
Okay.
Regular location. I guess shower is kind of regular as
Yeah,
well.
I don't think I have like a. I don't think I have a place. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a
Maybe
place.
we all need to go back to camp to listen.
No, really.
I feel like it's extremely difficult for our generation to connect with God because we grew up in a digital era, like social media, iPhones,
Great
iPads, CarPlay. Just everything is technology.
CarPlay.
So I think that something that always stuck out to me when I was a child was that in the book of Genesis, like before God started creation, there was nothing, just darkness, right?
Yeah.
I love the sauna at my gym because the light is broken and it's hot.
And you're in
So
darkness.
I'm in there after a long day,
What gym is that?
Fitness 2020.
What happens if
McDonough.
they fix the light?
I hope they don't.
Okay.
I might have to break it again. But just to be in there, especially when I got it by myself and nobody else is in there, and you know I'm withstanding the heat, and I'm just phone is not near me, inaccessible, and I'm just replaying the day, replaying the week, looking where I slipped, where I could have been better. That's my daily. That's my go-to. If I can't get in the sauna, then my garage, turn the lights off. Anywhere where it's just dark and I'm at peace, you know. And my second one is I feel extremely close to God after I'm hiking and I'm looking at the view, and I'm just like how can you not just be amazed at this? Like, you know, ain't no man like a human just did this, bro. You know, so like I love Stone Mountain because it's only like 40 minutes away. It's not that bad of a hike, and then when you get to the top, it's just beautiful.
Beautiful,
you
yeah.
know, and you just you go by yourself, go with the right people, you know, you can't help but not connect spiritually with something, you know. So sauna, garage, or a mountain with a nice view, waterfall, something like that for me.
A mountain is beautiful.
Oh, and one last thing, I waited to say this. Your grandmother,
Oh my God.
this is why it's important to appreciate the patriarchs and the matriarchs of your family.
Absolutely.
If they're living and breathing and they're still conscious in the right head and they're fluent as young people in a generation where authenticity, originality, moral values is dying. If you have your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your aunt, your great-aunt, you need to make it a priority to spend as much time and learn as much as possible from them. If not for yourself, for your children.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna just give a shout out to Johnny Fallon. She did your
Yes, Miss
thing.
Fallon, she did your thing.
She would love this because she watches every episode. She would love this.
And that's on Capital Jesus Christ. I would say physical place. I would say my mother's my mother and father's living room at home at their house. House, of course, I grew up in or whatever it may be, but it's something about that place. I feel like number one, my mom used to make us go into the living room and play and pray until we go to sleep. So it was just set up. You're like, y'all got too much energy. Go to the prayer room. She called it the prayer room.
Can't wait for her to listen to
Yeah.
my story.
You just call it the prayer
like
room.
that.
But I also saw my grandmother. You talk about grandmother. I love my grandmother. At the time, my grandmother was really sick. She couldn't walk. She was on a walker. My brother, myself, my cousin, my auntie, we were there. And again, my mom calls her living room her prayer room. My grandma's walking in from somewhere. She hears us praying. My grandmother, she walks in with her little walker. And like we pray for her. Now the church I grew up in, they used to just be like touching people's ankles and everything else, putting blessing over. My auntie's an evangelist, so she just putting blessing over. And I'm like, man, my grandma oily. But we pray for my grandmother. And when I say right, she moisturized. And my grandmother, man, she literally started like walking and jumping up without like it was no Peter Piper. No, just kidding. But no, like she literally was walking, man, was walking, and like for some time after that, just walking on her own, normal. I said, man, this is taking God at His word, So I feel like that's a powerful moment. And I say the last one is a mountain for me as well. I say a mountain. I would want to. I probably never do it, but I would want to climb Mount Everest one day. That's a huge,
We can just start
Something little, level one.
a huge mountain.
We're praying.
There's a
for
place around that's a little challenging. But, we're not going to be on our phone.
Right.
We're going to be connected to God.
That or going to one of the places in the Bible and just kind of stepping on that soil and allowing that to change my life.
So Marcus, Morgan says she like how you be able to just come off the dome with scripture, and I really do too. I really think that like people of faith that does that, like it really shows how much they be in their Bible, So like, and you went to seminary school, right?
Yeah.
So throughout your whole life, how often would you say, what percentage have you spent in your Bible?
What percentage?
Sum up your whole life, and what percentage have you spent in your Bible?
Man.
number.
I honestly feel like it was probably different seasons of my life of percentages. Okay. I honestly believe that when I was a kid, I think that was very essential to me. We used to have summer camps in my church growing up. And so it was literally like Bible summer camps where, you have the chapels and stuff, but you literally, in order to even go on a field trip, you had to learn a certain amount of scriptures. You couldn't duck that. You couldn't duck it. And then we were like, really seemingly at that time felt like forced to be in prayer, forced to be all these things. But what I learned was that it's kind of like when you're, teaching a kid, when they're younger, right? What they say, if you can what am I trying to say? If you can not allow a kid to be taught when they're young or whatever it may be, or if you can kill the seed, then it's easier to not allow them to grow because you're pretty much killing the seed. I'm probably quoting this totally wrong.
I know, I get the concept.
But I'm more so saying that I think as a kid, because they poured, so much into us, parents, kept us in church and whatnot. I feel like even if I was asleep on the front row, I didn't know that what the pastor was saying at the time or whoever it may be was really, entering into my spirit in some kind of way. And I think, from that standpoint, I think, man, just the love of God overshadowed me. Not in like a perfection way or whatever it may be, but I think from that point I started to think to myself, okay, if I'm going to believe in this, then I want to ensure that I know what I believe. And I think, that right there more so gave me a hunger and thirst, because I just wanted to know why am I here? And I think that thought alone just kind of made me say, okay, I need to study this a little bit more. Because you have that friend asking you all the questions and you don't want to be the kid that don't know nothing. You just in something because somebody told you to be in it, So I would say that, man. And I would also say community, you know what I mean? Like, you're talking about me, but when I say I learned so much from being around y'all, I was telling Tiffany the other day when she was talking, I said, Tiffany, how do you talk so fast and so clear at the same time? It's probably because I'm from Memphis, but I'm saying that to say, really? Yeah, I'm saying that to say that, man, really that community, honestly, that community. Yeah, they know that I'm going to keep on talking, so I'm going to end this episode here. All right? Because it's whatever time it is. But I do want to say thank you all so very much for watching this episode, Quiet Times and Busy Lives, with these incredible people that are right next to me, on my left, on my right. We have Tiffany again. We have Courtney.
Hello.
We have Morgan. We have my guy Jaheim. And we have myself, DeMarcus. This is the podcast at the
Thank
Hill.
you for our production team.
Thank you for the production team. We wish we could turn the camera around. Yeah, always.
In this production team.
Right.
The EP
In front of the camera today.
The EP is in front of the camera. Bring you the talent.
I've been fighting for a long time. I ain't gonna give up, 'cause you promised me the sunshine after all this rain and